luncheon, or not luncheon.
Some luncheon.
Some dinner.
Okay, so, I mean, you're obviously now reflecting on a lot of this stuff for next year.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So, I guess thinking to next year, but kind of thinking as if it was tomorrow. What would your next steps be given what's on your mind now, specific to this 8th grade class and project-based learning?
There's a lot.
Okay, let's talk about.
Prioritize.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright,
I'll just write it out as you
The
go.
first one is independent reading. The second one is more formative writing assessments. More frequent feedback, individual conferences. I'm gonna put your daily schedule on there as a routine. And specific to PBL is a heightened prioritization of social contracts, which is definitely a next step. Those are like top priority things. There are more, but I'll stop there.
Okay, so, all right, these are all really strong. Now, you have all summer to figure this out. But let's just pick one, I guess, and let's talk about, like, what you would do. Talk me through what you would do, like, if you had class tomorrow, what would you implement right away, and then what would you be trying to build towards long term?
If I had class tomorrow, I'd implement the schedules right away.
Okay.
And I would implement more, like, in addition to the schedule, just like more, I implement the schedules right away, and I would implement, next week, if we had class next week, I would implement more of a routine student-based reflection on their own portfolios. While you're setting your schedule, you're also thinking about what's the goal that I set for myself this year? What am I doing to achieve that goal? And that's part of the individual conferences. That's what I would implement tomorrow, because those logistically are relatively quick
So
fixes.
real quick before you go into the other thing, how are you as like a teacher gonna do that? Like the schedule thing, I can understand. It's pretty much print it out and invest them in it. So in terms of like investing them in the value of student-based reflection on portfolio, what are you kind of thinking?
Well, so of course you got to have. This is like physically, I would have to come up with, and I would actually probably what I would do and will do is actually, select a number of students to actually help me to get their input on this. But what I would do is I would create like a somewhat generic reflection sheet that's constantly tied into to the vision and the goal of the classroom, and also the students are constantly reminded and aware, and it's the repetition of their the key is getting the students repetitively to reflect upon number one, what's their year-long goal, number two, what's their semester, and number three, what month and daily, like all of the goals constantly have it's just sitting in front of them, and on paper, open up a folder, which I have for you, which you have written down and signed. I want to grow more than 2 years on Gates. I want to do this. I want to, I want to score this on the thing. Whatever it is, their goals. And to me, it's all about individualized goals. I mean, I understand, the big goal, like the class goal, is that 100% of your kids
are hitting
their goals.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the big goal,
Yeah,
because I understand, I don't want to publicize an 80% goal to kids, because that inherently suggests that 20% of you don't need to do it.
I've always hated that too. Yeah.
So to me, it's all about individual goals.
Yeah.
So and what I would do is, what it looks like is, it's a sheet which I would design questions about, like, what's your goal? Where are you at now? What I'm doing right now is setting next steps. So what are your next steps? What can I do to help you achieve this goal? And a lot of times it's like, well, nothing, I'll do it. It's on me. Yeah, of course it's on you. I can't grow 2 years of green beans.